Hello and welcome back to my series in Factorio, in which I'm attempting to build my very first mega factory. My name is Azrael. Come along with me as we continue our adventure. The first thing I'm going to do is set up a new rack. First of all, I'm going to edit this blueprint to get rid of the unnecessary underground pipes. But we're setting up a new rack. We're going to be building rail sections over here with the newly acquired stone production, or stone drop-off rather. We're going to bring up raw stone ore, combine it with steel, and then for some reason it still did not get rid of those underground pipes there. I'll have to double check my blueprint. Yeah, we'll do this second time and actually press the right button as we exit to save the blueprint after the edits. And it works better that way. Alright, I'm going to put the stone and the steel onto one belt because rail sections need just one of each. And we're also going to need iron plates to make into the iron sticks, or whatever they're called. It's something that I don't generally automate a whole lot of. Because in the past I've always just pocket crafted all the rail segments that I've needed. But since this is going to be a much larger factory eventually, it's going to need a lot more rail, and more than I'm going to be able to make in my own pocket. So, there that goes. It was a quite simple rack, but it will be very powerful and effective. Alright, for the meantime I'm just going to store a few things over here because the next thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to go on a larger biter killing rampage. It's the first section in what I am attempting to clear out all of the biters in a large square-ish area around the factory so that I can build up the defensive perimeter that I've talked so much about. Which is probably going to be undergoing a few more iterations, so it's probably going to end up, instead of being the defensive perimeter 3.0, it'll probably be like a 3.5 or something. People have also told me that the night vision effect is actually a little more annoying than just having it dark, so I'm going to go ahead and take that out of my my power armor. I can always put it back in later if I deem it necessary. And for one of the other effects that I'm going to do is I have to go scout out a new stone deposit. I've got my eyes set on one out to the east. It's not actually on this map. A couple episodes back I created it sort of a cheat map so that I could just explore the surrounding areas because there really is not a lot of stone in the immediate area. But first I'm going to start my biter killing rampage down here in the south. Where the attacks have been the strongest and most consistent. I actually was missing a turret down there, and I don't ever recall hearing the warning that got destroyed. It's just because down here in this section, biters are just continuously settling this area. So I'm going to go ahead and clear them out again, and then in the next couple of episodes I'll be just heading around and just clearing out as many as I can. I realized I took out the battery, and as a result of that, my exoskeleton legs actually ran out of energy during that last little attack, and so that kind of slowed me down. And that's not necessarily a good thing when you're being followed by a whole bunch of biters and spitters and everything. The whole premise here is that we want to be able to outrun these guys in case I get swarmed. Alright, so with that taken care of, and the battery is slowly filling, you can see it down there in the lower right hand corner. For right now we're just clearing out as many bases over here as I deem necessary. Now, we've done this many times in the past, so they're probably just going to keep moving in and resettling the area, and there's really not much I can do about that until I get a giant perimeter wall in place to just consistently keep them out of my pollution range. So that's something that we've been gearing up for. The last couple of episodes set up a wall making rack over in my military complex, and the requisite ammunition and turret crafting and all that fun stuff. And I'm over here in my coal mine and see that several of these turrets were low and completely out of ammunition in a few cases, which means that this area has also been getting attacked rather frequently. And it might be because it's on the edge of a desert, and desert tile does not absorb pollution as fast as, say, grass or dirt, so it allows the pollution to spread farther, and thus it affects more of the biter nest in the area. So it's probably just creating more problems that way. So as a precaution, I'm just going to try to clear as many of the bases that are in the pollution cloud as I can muster. Eventually, though, I do need to head off to the east side of the map, and right now we're up in the northwest. So we're kind of making a big circular route to get there. But it's important to get these guys out of the way because I don't want to leave the main factory for too long while it's being attacked by all of these guys. So the flamethrower and Mark II power armor is making this a rather quick and efficient thing. It's almost a hassle. I wish the 0.15 update that is going to be due out probably in the next month or so. I know that the 0.14 has officially been declared stable. This episode was actually recorded right before that happened, so we are still technically in 0.13 point whatever they ended up on. I don't even remember what subversion that was. But in the 0.15, I know that they're talking about taking out alien artifacts completely, and that will make this a whole lot faster because I don't have to worry about going back and picking stuff up. I guess I don't have to worry about doing that anyway. I could just leave the alien artifacts on the ground and come back and pick them up sometime in the future. I mean, every now and then as I go around, you can see where I've actually forgotten to pick some up on a previous outing. But I can't just do that. It's the OCD in me, I suppose, where I have to pick it up. I can't leave it behind. That's just wasteful. And right now, the alien artifacts are useful in the factory, being used in science and module production. Here we are, coming back into the factory. Speaking of, I just dropped a bunch of alien artifacts into the science production. Unfortunately, it's not the purple science that relies on alien artifacts that is bottlenecking our research at the moment. It is actually blue science, and that is being bottlenecked by the filter inserters. Over here, I noticed my stone train actually ran out of fuel on the main track, which in turn was blocking the oil train. And so, not that we really needed a whole lot of oil, but it's certainly not something you want to keep there forever. Now, since my stone mine has officially dried up over here, I'm just going to go ahead and tear down the entire mining depot that was here, which means that my stone train is now back in the factory saying no path because it can no longer find a station that doesn't exist. But we'll remedy that in a moment. We're making our way eastward now, finally. Heading into some pretty severe biter territory. This is actually a rather large nest. You can see my shields were almost completely dried out during that attack. And just have to work my way around here. And I'm starting to set the forest on fire, which is not necessarily a good thing. So I switch over to the combat shotgun and have my bots pick up a bunch of trees to create sort of a fire break, or whatever that's called. And in the process, I do believe I lost a few more construction robots, so I'll have to craft up a few more of them. But right now, I just need to get all these biters out of my way. I do not need them impeding my new stone mine. You can see that this is where the terrain generation took a turn in the 0.13 update. It just creates like a hard border there between the different biomes, and in fact the lake over there has a near vertical shoreline because of that. It's just really quirky. Ooh, some stone. Ooh, some stone. Oh, bunch of stone. Anyway, I'm going to clear out some more of these guys up here before I get too far. And I have to switch over to the shotgun again because I don't want to start a forest fire. But once I'm out here in the opening, I can go ahead and start all the fires I want. And there's another spider nest up here with a whole lot of worms. And I accidentally run into another one. But hey, again, we're out in the open, so I can start fires. Get rid of all of these guys. Alright. I think that's as far north as I need to clear for the moment. Craft up a few more rail segments in my inventory, make up for the lost construction bots. And while I'm down here, I just need to clear out a few more bases to the south. Yes, I have hit puberty, I promise. Okay. One last thing over here, just to make sure that they're not going to be in my way. And a whole bunch more stone all over the place. And some oil deposits down there. That was the other oil deposit that I had my eye on. Never got around to. This forest just in my way. Sometimes I really do kind of wish that I had the moral ambiguity to just set the whole thing on fire, but that just feels irresponsible of me, so I'm not going to do that. Instead, over here, I'm setting up all of my my stone mining drills. I'm going to try to cover the whole deposit, although there are still a few tiles worth that are not being mined in this particular configuration, especially over on the east border there behind these mining drills. But it's okay. This is going to be more than sufficient for my needs in the immediate future. I just need to get some more trees out of my way. I want to make sure that I'm not overflowing my inventory, because I've only got a few more stacks worth of space. But yeah, here we're going to put down a few more drills. I am a little bit more limited in my inventory count on them, but I do manage to get most of those squares covered. Now it's just a matter of building a train depot over here to actually load the stone and bring it back to the factory. And these trees are just in my way. There's a nice little iron deposit up here as well. It's not particularly large, but it could be sufficient in the future. Although right now I'm not, I don't really need a whole lot of iron. I know that back in the factory, the thing that I've got most concern about is copper. I'm going to have to, and there we go, we overflow the inventory. But that's okay. Let's put down a box, and that wood can actually be used as a temporary fueling point for the trains that are going to visit here. Now, I just need to figure out how to create an actual station here, because you can't put a station on a curved rail or a diagonal rail. And so I've got to get a straight section here, and since I don't use double header trains, I need to give it a space where it can turn around. A double header train obviously is the kind that have a locomotive on both the front and back, and I don't build them that way. I just have the locomotive on the front, which means that the train can only move forward, which you know, obviously means that it needs a place to turn around. So I try to work out a standard little loop here, and then of course realize that that doesn't give me any space to actually put the station. So I'm just going to go ahead and make this a straight section right here, and that'll be my turnaround point. I'll just put down a station there. I'm going to name this one Stone Mine 02, and go back to my stone train and get it to come to this station. I could have just plopped this down and called it Stone Mine 01, but that wouldn't exactly be truthful, because we already had a Stone Mine 1. I want to kind of make sure that each one of these is unique and independent. So I ended up just copying the the conditions from Stone Mine 1 over to Stone Mine 2. So now the train should be arriving momentarily. Well, actually, we don't actually have it connected to the main rail yet. So, no, it's not going to be showing up just yet. Uh, First of all, I want to put down some power. And I just happen to have enough places to put all the power poles down using some substations and then a large power pole there. Alright, so that should be okay. Now I just need to get this connected over. I'm going to create a T-junction. And there we go. Now that stone train should be on its way from the main factory. Yeah, there it is, right there. And of course, since it's not actually doing anything right now, it's just going to turn around and try to go back. But since there's no rail going back, it's now probably saying no path. So, we just have to connect that rail line back over. And I run out of rail sections. So I go out into the wilderness trying to find one, or maybe a couple more, of those little stone formations. The awesome stone moments. But alas, I cannot find any out here. You know, the one time that I really want them, there's some stone, and there's some stone, and there's some stone. And then I realized that it's not stone that's preventing me from building them, it's actually steel. So I have to head back into the main factory anyway. And I head over here to my junk box, I get loaded back up on steel, and then of course I remember I also have a rack section devoted to crafting rail segments, so I'll just pick some up from there and head back to the stone mine. There goes I believe that was the oil train that just went by. Alright, now the stone train should be able to complete its circuit. There it goes. And bringing power over. That should do it. Everything over there is working. The station is loading up. So now it's just a matter of yeah, here comes the stone train again, and it's going to load, and everything is going to be cool. Now I just need some defenses to protect this place in case the biters try to come back into their territory. I put that section of wall just a little bit too far over. It went over a diagonal section of rail, and you can't put a gate on a diagonal section of rail. So I had to move it over just a little bit so that it's crossing a straight section of rail. Put some more wood in that box. And there we go. There's a defensive wall around this place. Put some gates over the tracks. And now it's just a matter of putting up some defenses. I'm going to put this defensive wall in rather thick. Or the defenses behind the wall, rather. Because this is a section this is so far the farthest outpost from the main factory. And I can't really afford to just keep running out here every time there's a problem. So it needs to be somewhat self-sufficient. And I'll put up some lights so you can see what I'm doing. Alright. And we also are going to need, first of all, I'm going to need some more lights. I'm going to craft those up. And I also need some more rail signals. Because this entire section is now considered a single block. So, there we go. And just heading back toward the main factory. Okay, and that is that does it for that. And so I'm gonna go clear out some more biters because these guys are a little close to my oil outpost. Once again, I want to make sure I don't set any forest fires, so I switch over to the shotgun. Alright, and everything should be fairly far away now. There is a biter base on the other side of the lake, which is just like one tile away from an actual connection. So I briefly consider if I can just go over and attack them. I don't want to create a land bridge because then that'll create an extra access point for the biters to get in. As it is right now, if the biters do decide to attack this base, they have to go all the way around the lake and then just to be stopped short by the defensive wall once they get there. So everything there should be alright. Alright, I'm going to head back up here. And yeah, it's the electronic circuits that are creating the bottleneck over here in the blue science. But we'll take care of that in another episode. I want to thank you very much for tuning in. My name is Azrael. Never stop building.